So, do you guys remember a small game by the name of Fortnite? Fortnite that spiked in popularity in March of 2018 and since has slowly been dying in popularity, but recently, due to the Game Awards, I have found out that they have added a lot, and something which really intrigued me was sliding. Movement is something they're looking towards. They also added web slinging as like a part of a promotion with Spider-Man, which is kind of cool. So I decided, you know what? I haven't played the game since Season 3, which is a while ago. Let's see how much has changed. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was the huge UI overhaul. Like, the game has gone for a more hexagonal look, where edges aren't really straight, things aren't really symmetrical, as they were before, and it just looks a lot cleaner. Like, it suits the game quite a lot. I personally quite like it, and I think a lot of people will, but every time you see the old UI, you kind of get that sense of nostalgia that you don't get with this new UI. But I mean, generally, I think it's fine. I think a lot of people will enjoy it, and even though the player base has gone down, I think they've done a good job changing the UI. The next thing I want to talk about is the AI. I don't know why this is such a big thing for me, but AI in a battle royale, I mean, Apex has done it, Fortnite's done it, I don't know what else has done it, but seeing AI just walk on in like open spaces was kind of cool. There's sharks, and there's also #1 victory royale. Yeah, Fortnite, we about to get down. What was that? What?
Zoom in right here on this spot.
Enhance section A6.
Wait a minute. Wait, is that?
You die.
I got over it.
The Rock? The Rock in my game? Yo, there's no real issues with it, the AI. There is a kind of a risk to reward factor that you have to compensate for. Since the AI takes a long time to kill regardless of your weapon, generally I just sniped the shark the whole time and I didn't kill it, but it makes a lot of sound, so even if you get it to a low health, you can still die whilst trying to fight it. Plus, Dwayne The Rock Johnson does a lot of damage. He does hurt, so it is something to look out for, that you will take a lot of damage. Another thing I wanted to talk about was, obviously, one of the main components of the game is the loot. The issue I find with the loot generally is there's so much of it, and a lot of it's kind of trash.
Kid's name was Evan, literally dog water, get some earning.
In some games like Apex, you will find loot, and even if the loot's bad, if you go and you fight, you get like the armor upgrades, so therefore playing aggressive is rewarded, which is a great feature. Like, you get more armor, you get to fight more, and there's a possibility of having higher ended loot. In Fortnite, there's no real incentive to play aggressive. If you get lucky and you find a chest which gives you high stat loot, or you kill an AI with no problems and it gives you good loot, you could just sit in camp and grab materials for all the time you want, and no one's going to stop you. And it's a really bad feature. Why is there no incentive to fight? It means that people who camp are rewarded, and people who try and play aggressive generally aren't. You're just going to lose your shields, you're just going to lose like anything you've gained. And to be fair, the only reason you'd want to play aggressive is for mats, but even then it's no real reason to. You can just sit around and wait and you still have a full shield. There's nothing making you play aggressive, and it's just a very slow paced game where a lot of people are just sitting around and camping. In one of the end of my games, someone was just sitting in a box that they made, and they got into top 5 because they can. Like, there's nothing stopping them from doing that. You can just sit around, you don't have to fight. I mean, there's no purpose to sitting around and not fighting, but it is something you can do, and it's a really bad system that they've created where there's so much abundance of loot that you don't actually need to fight. The new movement mechanics, I really liked sliding. It's a feature that feels so natural. I did it a few times, and then after a while it just came naturally. I thought, wow, how have they not had this feature the whole game? Because it's so nice. I know a lot of people dislike it and are saying that, oh, sliding makes the game too easy, or brings it ruins the aspect of building, but it's so cool. You could, if someone's building around you, you can just build next to them, slide down, make an escape, and it's also a very fast, quick way of moving. It's like a whole new way of, a whole new skill to the game. Plus the web slinging, that's fun to an extent. It doesn't work as well as I thought it would. It kind of just is very jank, keeps you in a certain state and pulls you around. I'm not really sure why they did that. I thought it was going to be a feature to pull yourself in or sling yourself off something, but you kind of just swing. I guess that's the idea of it, but it just doesn't feel very clean. It doesn't feel like you would actually want it to feel. And to be honest, that's completely fine. It's a battle royale for free that doesn't require you to pay anything to play. There's no reason to complain. I'm not paying for a AAA title right now. It's just a bit unfortunate that the web slinging isn't as good as I would have expected, but it's still very fun to do, and very quick. It's a very quick way of maneuvering past people in the map. And if someone's build up really high and you're not as good as building, it's a way of counteracting that, getting up and stopping them. Now, one of the big reasons that Fortnite seemed to die was its building mechanic. I don't really know how to put this. People didn't abuse it, but it got to a point where there was no way someone new could come into the game and enjoy the game for what it was. The shooting aspect of it became less and less of a priority, and the building became much higher on the priority scale. It kind of turned into a building simulator rather than a shooter battle royale, and it is the main mechanic of the game, so I'm not complaining. I understand why there is a huge gap between people who can build and can't. It's like complaining about aiming and grenades in CS. Fortnite was never about the shooting as much as it was the building. The whole aspect of the game is outbuild your opponent and then you outgun them. I, for one, was not very good at, and there was definitely points where I could have outgunned the person, but obviously their building was better than me. Aiming is not a priority, and it doesn't have to be. It's not supposed to be. It doesn't really need to be. It's a good game without people online say that maybe they could have a second cooldown per build time or something similar to that, or 0.2 seconds, but what's the point? There is a reason that people are so good at it, is because it's a skill-based game where the building is the skill. Like, there's no reason to add a cooldown generally. It's the main mechanic. One other thing I want to talk about was the whole map has changed now. So a lot of places I came to wasn't very aware of, and I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely a good thing to me. The whole map is covered in question marks, and you have to explore different landmarks to unlock it. And I think that's a really good feature. Kind of gives like an open world, like Breath of the Wild type aspect to it, where you have to visit like shrines and the towers to unlock a portion of the map. And it gives like meaning to exploring other parts of the map. It means that you won't go to the same place every single time. And I know a lot of people will complain that it's a battle royale, you don't need to question mark and explore, but it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I loved going to different parts of the map, just exploring, just looking around, just finding. And they added fishing though, so there have been a lot of weapon changes, but I don't know if I've seen them all. But a majority of what I've seen, I don't mind per se. There isn't an abundance of like new style weapons. When I played, there was stuff like guided missiles and crossbows, but that all seems to be gone. It's kind of just guns now, from what I've seen anyway. There was the web slingers, but that's it. There was different forms of healing item, but nothing like extravagant, nothing like that blew me away. It was just kind of guns there. Every weapon felt just the same. It didn't feel like I could go out and find something like a crossbow or something like a bow in general, but it didn't feel like there was a variety, and it was kind of unfortunate. But there is one slight variation, which is they have like a first person gun where you can look down the sights now, which is fine. I think it's okay. I didn't particularly like it. It's good for like mid to long range combat, and I can see a lot of people enjoying it, but me particularly, I was fine with a third person shooting, and I think I stayed that way because every time I saw the gun, I didn't really want to pick it up unless it was like a super high rarity where I couldn't refuse it. So the game has taken a huge turn, and not for the worse. I like a lot of the aspects. I like the sliding, I like the web slinging movement, I like how they incorporate more and more like aspects. There's also vehicles which are incredibly fun, and to be honest, this is still a game which I can see people getting very invested in. I mean, Thailand Ninja Blevins has come back and started playing it again, I think, on his Twitch account. I'm not really sure, but he was playing it the other day when I saw him. Yeah, I do think the game is taking a good turn, and I just, it's unfortunate that no one really wants to play anymore because of how big of the turn is. But if I were to say anything, it was, if you did enjoy Fortnite, maybe give it a second chance. It's still a great game. The game still feels very fun to play, and I don't know if it was based on my MMR or what, but when I was playing, I didn't see that many sweats. It was a lot of just kind of kids or bots or whatever. I'm not really sure what I saw, but it was very casual. And maybe I just didn't play long enough to see enough sweats. But to me, in maybe 4 or 5 games, not seeing many sweats apart from maybe a few variations near the end, it felt like the game was back to where it originally was. And I really liked that. It was fun. Where you just kind of went in and you shot people. And I think a lot of people aren't ready to give it a second chance. But give it another chance. If you find a sweat and you're still disliking the game, that's fine. If you like the new mechanics, if you don't like the new mechanics, that's fine. It has taken a good turn, and it has very much evolved and changed from where it was in Season 3, from when I last played. The changes are all good. The new UI is amazing compared to Season 3. The new movement from Season 3, I felt very slow to maneuver the map, and now it feels very quick, very fast paced. A lot of different tactics and variations you can go about doing things, and it's still probably a fun game if you want to pick it up. It's still free, so you can do that. But anyway, I'm sorry this video took quite long. I recorded the Fortnite gameplay in Christmas, December. It's now January 18th, and it's like 4 a.m. and I'm recording this. But yeah, I just thought I'd try and get this video out, talk a bit about Fortnite, because I felt like it. I'm still not not a huge fan of the game, in the sense of I haven't played it that much, so take my opinions all with a pinch of salt. But I hope you enjoyed, and